This PowerPoint presentation is about the adjectives. Let's revise the basic. Here we've got some different examples. The first one, it's a poisonous snake. We write the adjectives before the noun. We don't say not snake poisons. Number two, they're very powerful people. The noun is in plural, but we don't change the adjective. The next three examples are related to the comparison of adjectives. The third sentence says, I'm older than my brother. Old has got one syllable, so we have to add er and than. Sentence number 4. Rome isn't as expensive as Paris, not as expensive than. Number 5. It's the most difficult exercise in the book. The rule says that difficult has got more than 2 syllables. We have to add the most to make the superlative. On the next slide, we can see a chart about comparative and superlative adjectives. Adjectives that have got one syllable, we have to add er to make the comparative, and the and est to make the superlative. As you can see, on the first adjective we've got is tall. To make the comparative, we have to add er and it becomes taller. And to make the superlative, we have to add the tallest. Remember that sometimes if there is a vowel, consonant, vowel, we have to double the ending letter, as it happens with the next example, hot. As you can see, the comparative of hot becomes hotter with double T, and the superlative of hot becomes the hottest with double T. Looking at to the next one, we can see that it has got 2 syllables, but it doesn't finish in Y or er, so we have to write more and the most. Modem finishes in M, so we have to add more to make the comparative, and we have to add the most to make the superlative, and it becomes more modem or the most modern. Instead, VC finishes in Y, and we have to change the Y and add er. So to make the comparative, we have to write busier, and to make the superlative, the busiest. We have got adjectives that have got 2 and 3 more syllables, such as dangerous or interesting, and for these adjectives we have to add more and the most. Remember as well that more and the most is when we talk about the quantity and positive, and the less and the least is about quantity negative. Then finally we have got what we said, irregular adjectives, and to make the comparative and the superlative for this adjective, it has no rules, so we have to learn by heart. Some examples you can see here in the slide, such as good becomes better to make the comparative, and the best to make the superlative. Next example is bad, so to make the comparative should be worse, and to make the superlative should be the worst. And also another one we can see, far we can make the comparative further, and the superlative is the farthest. On the next slide, it is related to adjective plus one and once. We use one or once after an adjective instead of repeating the same noun. We have to use this for countable nouns. For example, I've lost my suitcase. Suitcase is a countable noun. So on the next sentence, it's a big blue one. It refers to the suitcase, that is, that color and the size. The next one, expensive laptops are usually more reliable than cheap ones. We are referring to the laptops. In this case, laptops is a plural noun. We don't use one ones with uncountable nouns. For example, I'm looking for full-time work, but I'm happy with part-time, no part-time one. On the next slide, we can see more rules for comparative and superlative. One-syllable adjectives with N in ed always use more and the most for comparative and superlative. For example, bored, pleased, shocked, stressed, tired. You can see the example. I feel more tired than I did yesterday. She's the most stressed person in the office. Rule number 2, some two-syllables adjectives can make comparatives and superlatives with er and es, as we can see on the previous slides. Common examples are clever, narrow, polite, quiet, simple, stupid. And you can see example number 2, she is the cleverest girl in the class. The old road was much narrower than the new one. It would be simple to go back to the beginning. Finally, on the last slide, we talk about a bit plus a comparative adjective and much plus a comparative adjective. We use a bit plus comparative adjective to say that the difference is small. For example, it's a bit cloudier today than yesterday. We are remarking that is not that the difference is slow. This phone is a bit more expensive than that one, so it's not so expensive. The difference is small. We use much plus comparative adjective to say that the difference is large. For example, your job is much more stressful than mine. So in here the difference is large. The business is much busier than it was last year.